At around 6 a.m., I left Nancy's home and said a huge thank you to her and had said a huge thank you to her parents the night before for being so hospitable and for allowing me to stay there. Her mom would make me breakfast every morning, and it was so sweet of her. I think it was congee. It was really, really good. I had a wonderful time in London, but it was time to say goodbye and to head over to a new country. I took a plane this time, so I was headed over to London Gatwick Airport, which is where this picture is from, and this is just a ton of Percy pigs in the airport because I fell in love with these candies. Nancy gave them to me as a welcome present because they happen to be vegan, and oh my goodness, they taste so good. They don't even taste like vegan candies. I love them so much that I bought 2 packs with me for France. I also found this while in the airport, which is the brand Super Dry, and this was significant because my friend who grew up in Edinburgh, Scotland, would always talk about this brand, so I just thought it was funny to see it in person, and I of course took a picture of it to send to her. Then this is me looking outside the window before landing into Lyon. I was so excited to have arrived because I could finally practice my French, since the whole reason I was in Europe to begin with was to take this 3-week intensive course that my university was offering. I'll talk more about my course later, but for now, here comes a voiceover of me geeking out over French and just explaining one of the major reasons that I'm so excited to come to France. Have fun. I was really excited to be able to hear the type of French that is spoken here because I am most accustomed to a Quebecois variety of French, and I think that is the variety of French that my accent most closely resembles. So, I was excited to compare and contrast the variety of French spoken in this region, which would reflect a more French from France variety, versus the variety of French that I'm most accustomed to, which is more generally a Canadian French, and more specifically a Quebec variety of French. Sorry, I know that was probably boring, but that is genuinely what interests me, so that is what makes studying linguistics in French in university so fun for me. After having been picked up by my French host family, we arrived into the home where I would be staying in for the next 3 weeks. Included in the tuition for this course was this host stay experience. So my university took care of pairing us up with host families in Lyon. So my classmates and I got to stay with these host families for the duration of our course. In the next clip, I am giving a house tour, and it's fully conducted in French because I think I was too excited to do it in English. I wanted to practice my French so bad. Even if you can't understand French, I think you can just hear the excitement in my voice because I was in awe that I was going to be living in this beautiful home for free because of the scholarship I received for this course.
Bonjour et bienvenue. C'est chez moi pour les prochaines 3 semaines. Oh, c'est vraiment belle. C'est... Oh mon Dieu. Oh mon Dieu. Alors, c'est la salle à manger. C'est la cuisine. Non, c'est trop belle. Le salle à séjour, je crois. Piano. Des escaliers. Il y a 3 étages. Moi, je suis dans la 3e. Salle de bain. Ah non, ça c'est la vraie salle de séjour.
Europe to me is like its own separate planet because the standard pain au chocolat was only about €1.20 at most, and this is the best pastry I've had in my life. This little everyday pain au chocolat from a neighborhood bakery could probably be considered a gourmet pain au chocolat in Vancouver, and it could probably go for around $8 if I'm being honest. People are not kidding when they say that the quality of food in Europe is different because it really is. After coming back home with my groceries, I did a bit of cooking, and then I met up with a friend who was also here in Lyon, but she was doing a 1 year exchange here. And I met this friend while I was in Quebec last year doing the Explore program, which, if you've watched my channel before, you might be familiar with this, but this is a 5 week French immersion program that I've done in past. And last year I did it in Saguenay, and I met this girl who also goes to UBC and is in my program, which is really funny because my program is really small and niche. And we both ended up in Lyon at the same time. So we had to meet up. And so we did. And we hung out and we went to this contemporary museum and we saw an exhibit on love. And this is one of the pieces that was in this exhibit, which were excerpts of these texts that were showing different types of loves, and we just found these ones to be pretty hilarious. So go ahead and translate that if you'd like to. The next day was the first day of class, so we went to class and did some introductions, and then we went to a museum together that was just detailing the history of Lyon so that we had more context for the rest of our course. After class, I was curious to explore Lyon, specifically the thrifting scene, so I hit up a few thrift shops and they are so good here. Oh my goodness, I found some cute pieces while also keeping in mind my very limited luggage space. Then the cherry on top to my thrifting experience today was that Iliona's music started playing in one of the thrift stores. Iliona is my favorite francophone artist and she's from Belgium. Her music would never just start playing in Vancouver since Iliona is a smaller artist to begin with and francophone music is not popular in Vancouver because people don't really speak French there. So this just made my whole experience so much more magical. Okay, now to explain more about what this course is. The course was on the representation of Lyon through literature, or something like that. And if that sounds really specific, once you get to university, you realize that a lot of courses are specific like that, so it kind of becomes normal. Now, I will be honest, I wasn't super excited to take this course. I was excited to practice my French because the course is fully conducted in French, but the course content itself, not super interesting, but it counts towards my French minor. But the biggest incentive for myself, and I know most of my classmates, is that we got a very generous scholarship from the Canadian government that covered pretty much all of the tuition costs for this course. So that was just a pretty sweet opportunity that we got to take. Then, right after class, I was on my way to Italy. What? Yeah, I don't even know how to be able to explain this quickly, but I went to Turin, Italy for the weekend because I got to go to a linguistics conference. I, like, it just worked out. I am going to try and explain this as concisely as I can and so that it makes sense. So, what is this linguistics conference? Why am I going to Turin, Italy for a weekend? Basically, do you remember that sign language linguistics course that I took in the second semester of my second year? So, right before going to this trip, I had taken that course. Well, that was a grad level seminar with 8 students in it. They were mostly grad students, but there were some undergraduate students like me and this other girl, let's call her Bella. Now, Bella, what are the odds of this happening? She also ended up being registered for this French literature course happening in Lyon that had 20 students in it. Literally, how, like, this is not even the same program. It's linguistics course versus a French course. But, anyways, we're both going to Lyon. And when the professor finds out about this, she's like, "Hey, Jessica, I hear that you're going to be in Lyon. Well, Bella is going to be presenting the work from my lab at this linguistics conference in Turin, Italy. Did you want to join her?" And I was like, what did you just say? And, she continues, you could share accommodation with Bella because the university will be paying for the accommodation since she is presenting at this conference. You just need to pay for your own transportation and your own meals. And I was like, oh, what did you just say? I was stunned, but, in my professional manner, I was like,
wow, thank you so much for offering that to me. That sounds like a wonderful learning experience where I could learn so much more about the field and about conferences in general. I would love to take you up on that. Please send me more information.
something like that. But on the inside, I was like, what did you just say? Because Turin, Turin, Italy. Okay, no, back up. During lockdown, I was very intensely studying Italian because I was bored. And so when I graduated high school, which was a semester early, I had this semester of, no plans where I was trying to figure out what I should do. And one of the ideas I had was living in Italy for 2 months and trying to absorb Italian, practice the Italian that I'd learned because I'd actually made quite a bit of progress when I was studying Italian. And I just wanted to live in Italy and live my dream life. And I don't remember why, but I'd chosen Turin as the city that I wanted to move to. Why? I don't know. Turin is not a very famous city. It's not a city that people really visit. But that's where I wanted to go to. And now you're telling me that I get to visit Turin, Italy for a weekend and get my accommodation paid for because I'm going to be going to this linguistics conference. Are you kidding me? How do these opportunities present themselves to me? I don't know, but what? I could not believe my mind. So, yeah, my classmate Bella, she was presenting at this conference along with the other person who was presenting was an actual researcher. So it was a researcher, and then Bella, who's a volunteer at the lab. So they were presenting at this conference, and then I got to simply attend the conference. But it was, still can't believe what happened. So following are some clips from Italy. There's one clip that I took during the conference, and then the rest of it is just me enjoying my time in Italy, being in love with the culture and the language. I love how the three of us were all on the same page. And so the night we arrived, we cooked ourselves dinner because we wanted to save dinner. We wanted to save money. And then right after, this is a real university course, so there are assignments. So I had to work on this assignment that I had been neglecting to do. And so I worked on it until I think 2 a.m. And then I woke up the next day and worked on it from 5 until 7 a.m. or something. And then I attended the conference, and it was super cool to hear about this lab since this is a lab that I want to volunteer in and actually update. I am now volunteering in it, so that's pretty cool. I also got to meet an author of one of the papers that my course had read, so that was really cool to meet an academic and to actually have something to talk about because I commented on her paper and I felt like I almost belonged to this world, but I also felt like such an imposter being here because I was just attending, I was not presenting, but it was overall a really, really cool experience.
So please come to our poster. We'll be happy to delve into the details with you. Thanks.
I have so much stuff to do. I just forgot.
No, no worries.
Cheers.
The vegan pasta was good, but oh my goodness, the vegan tiramisu, I've never tasted anything so good. I feel like it reshaped my world. The only way I can describe it, it's like I discovered a new depth of flavor that I didn't know was possible. Italian food in Italy, even if it's vegan, is something else. It is on another level. Today, the graduate student that we were with left to continue visiting Italy on her own, so then me and quote-unquote Bella got to hang out together and walk around and explore Turin. It was very fun.
l'amore mio grande, un amore infinito, e ogni mio viaggio si sente da me, coperte di pane che si mischiano nel mondo, che rimane.
Me and quote unquote Bella ended up getting along very well because we had very similar hobbies and interests, and also she's going to be starting SLP graduate school in the fall, and I want to become an SLP, so a speech language pathologist. So we were chatting about grad school and just general life things. We ended up talking all the way home on the 5-hour bus ride from Turin to Lyon. And it was during that bus ride that we realized that her boyfriend was kind of friends with my brother. So that was a pretty funny thing to discover. And that concludes my weekend in Italy, and also that concludes this video. So I will see you in the next one.